I want people to
Wow.
know you can start over. There are so many people that are so stuck because they think that they're in this job, they went to college or high school, they studied this one path, and this is it for them. And so I did a complete 180. I mean, I went from a psychology degree to insurance sales to dental school. And so for me, it is a really important message that you know that you can change the path. You can change the trajectory that you're on right now. If you have that passion, if you wake up every morning, you feel frustrated, like you're just irritated with the fact that you're going to this job that you don't feel like you were born to do.
Right.
You only have one life.
Welcome to another episode of Urpreneur. Today I have the distinct pleasure of interviewing Dr. Stephanie Young-Niemeyer. Stephanie, I'm interested about your background. Tell
Thank
me
you for
some
having
more.
me, Carrie Ann. Thank you so much. So I am a dentist,
Right.
and I am also an aesthetic doctor, and I'll tell you a
Okay.
little bit more about
Yes,
that.
please.
Right. I also have a little side business called Life Spring Bone Broth. So it's about
Right.
bone broth. Yes, I'll tell you a little bit about that. And then I also have an NGO called Ignite Ministries. And so I'm very busy. My plate is very full.
Very full.
Yes.
How did you do it? And you're a mother too.
And most importantly, I am a mummy of 3 boys. And I am, my biggest accomplishment in life is my marriage for 17 years to my husband.
Wow.
Yes. So we have a very exciting life, many balls juggling in the air. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I tell people all the time, people complain too much. So I think there is too much complaining and not enough just excitement and passion about life. I am so deeply passionate. I am thrilled. I feel like I am in my prime. So this is what I want. This is exactly what you would have dreamt of and you would have worked so hard for from since you were very young. So this for me is really, really, really an exciting time in my life. I am here. I'm in the moment. I am just breathing all the excitement in, even though it's a lot. And
I love that.
that is long days. But even at the end of the day, I go, this is exactly what I wanted. This is amazing. Right?
You're officially superwoman.
So
Seriously.
thank you for having me.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll talk about the superwoman thing, right? People
Right.
always say that, and I actually think completely differently. I think I have a super amazing team around me. I have a
Right.
fantastic husband. I have a really fantastic help at home with the kids. I have amazing staff. We have just such a great team that every day doesn't seem like this huge chore. Every day is
Right.
like you are just so excited to see what is going to happen that day because we
Wow.
have it so well oiled. It's such a well oiled machine. And I think that's a really important part of being in a position to experience these things. It's just you have to have this really amazing team to have all the parts moving and going well. So yeah, that's kind of, I'm not superwoman. Far from. Far, far, far from.
I love your disposition. So, Stephanie, I'm still curious about how did you manage to get so much on your plate? How did you?
Yeah, so and I want to tell you my stories because
Yes,
this is
please.
my story is what I'm deeply passionate about sharing. I actually started out of college. I got married very young. We got married in college.
Oh,
So we
wow.
were married very young. I
That
was
explains
20.
it.
Yes, I was 20. Now you can do the math. And we very quickly, I always wanted to be a dentist growing up because my dad was a dentist. And then
Right.
when the time came in choosing subjects and stuff, I felt like I just wanted to rebel. Like, children just want to do the opposite of what the parents want them to
Yes.
do. So I pushed back and I just decided I want to try something else. Okay.
Right.
So even so, I chose science subjects in school and went on to college and did psychology because I love people. Okay, that's
Okay.
really my first passion. So I went on to do psychology, and then in doing psychology, I did my minor in chemistry, biology, and physics. So I chose those are my elective subjects. Sorry, my elective subjects, right? And so very strangely, just did it, which is weird because who does that as an elective? Normally, your electives are your easy subjects. Anyhow, went on to complete my bachelor degree in psychology, got married young, first job out of college. I just wanted to get a job and make money. So I did not want to go for another how many ever years for dentistry, okay?
Right.
So I got the worst possible job out of college, which for anybody in insurance, I'm sorry, but I got a job as an insurance salesperson, as in knocking on doors to sell life insurance.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so I lived in California at the time. I had a very Trini accent. Could you imagine making cold calls on the phone? You had to like secure your leads. They came in the mail, and you had to say like, "Are you interested in buying life insurance? I will come and I will meet with you morning or afternoon, which is better for you." And you would just set up appointments with people to go and sit in their house and sell them life insurance. Okay, so it was the worst possible job you could get right out of college, but I did it. And within 6 months, I was already qualifying for what they call like winner's circle. We went to Hawaii. We
So
did all
how
these
was
things
it
within
the worst
6
job
months,
and you
right?
were in the winner's circle?
Because life insurance sales is hard, it is painful, but it is like it's a numbers game. So you just keep going. And this ties into even where I'm at now, okay? So it was almost like God put me in the hardest possible job right out of college. I had so much to learn from that job. I learned so much in that small space of time. And then it became so difficult to be safe because I'm going into random people's houses.
Right.
That I moved on to the home office position with insurance, which I
Right.
absolutely loved. Okay. I
Okay.
was doing underwriting for big insurance policies. But what happened after that is when the economy crashed in the States, I don't know if you remember, in 2008.
Yes.
I really started to have this fork in the road thing. I needed to figure out if it was that I was supposed to stay and work in a corporate job or if I wanted to go back home to Trinidad to become a dentist and to become a business owner.
Right.
Okay. So it was only in 2008 when I went to apply to dental school in Trinidad that those subjects that I did all the way back in high school and in college came right back. I needed them. I needed chemistry, biology, and physics to apply to dental school. So it's just strange
Yeah,
how
what are
God,
the
everything was
odds?
aligned, right? Everything God knew. And so nothing is by coincidence in life, right? So that's one of my big things that I love people to know. Every single thing that you go through in your path, it comes back to really deeply when you really want to find your passion, God aligns all of these things. Okay, so I applied, I got into dental school, we packed up our house, we had a whole white picket fence thing in the US, and we started over from scratch. Everything, we left everything. We had a big 6-bedroom house in Texas. Well, everything is bigger in Texas. You
Yes.
could buy whatever you want for how much ever, but we were young and we basically decided we would walk away from everything. I was pregnant at the time with my first baby, and I came back to Trinidad. People still to this day think it is just insane because everybody's trying to leave Trinidad to go to the States to have a better life.
And get a house with a picket fence, a 6-bedroom.
Yes, to go to the States to have the fantastic job and the house. And we just felt like that just wasn't the life that we wanted to live. We wanted to be our own bosses. So we moved back to Trinidad.
Right.
And maybe I'm moving a little fast for you, but this is where the whole journey began.
Right.
And so one of the things that I am so deeply passionate about express it to people. I tell people all the time, I'm like cleaning teeth and talking about it all the time, is that you can start over. The British system is so, it really leads people to believe that from the age of 13, 14, 15, they have to know what they're going to do for the rest of their life. And if once that's in the bag, you cannot change. But the way the world is today, most people will go through about 3 to 5 career changes. We are like constantly evolving as people now, because it's a different world than it was back in the day with our parents, where they did one career for their whole lives. And so this was my first evolution. I went from my first job from college, did well, and this was my first complete restart. I want people to know you can start over. There are so many people that are so stuck because they think that they're in this job, they went to college or high school, they studied this one path, and this is it for them. And so I did a complete 180. I mean, I went from a psychology degree to insurance sales to dental school. And so for me, it is a really important message that you know that you can change the path. You can change the trajectory that you're on right now. If you have that passion, if you wake up every morning, you feel frustrated, like you're just irritated with the fact that you're going to this job that you don't feel like you were born to do.
Right.
You only have one life, and you literally can go to any, I think about this all the time. You go to an old people's home and you interview people and you say like, so tell me about your life, grandpa, so-and-so. What do you wish you did differently? And they will tell you about all of the regrets that they are living with. And regret is one of the things that I do not ever want to have in my life.
Right.
So I want to max out. I want my level of what I have done with my life to leave such a huge impact that I do not want to leave any stone unturned when it comes to what I feel like I need to be doing here on earth with my short time on earth. So that is one of my biggest things. With my whole story that I just told you, sorry if you fell asleep during the storytelling, right? But I have to go from the beginning for you to see, like, how did you reach the dentistry? Because it was a huge turnaround. I'm still friends with my friends in the insurance industry who thought I was totally nuts. I mean, I walked away from everything to come back to Trinidad to go through dental school, which is not a given that you would actually even get through dental school. Okay, now there's a baby in the picture. We've walked away from everything, but we said, this is it. Like, we are not turning back. This is what we want. Okay, so that was my first turning point. I have so much more to tell you.
I have so many questions. First of all, how do you know if it's the right decision to walk away from something you've built up or established like you did? What if couldn't it have turned out badly?
It could have turned out badly, absolutely. So there's with lots of risk, there's lots of reward. Okay, and I had to be able to. I was pregnant at the time I told you, and I was faced with the question of when my child was old enough to understand, and he's in school now. Like right now, he's 10. If I had to tell him, "Mommy did not follow her dreams," I just follow the path of least resistance because it was a paycheck and I just had to just get that so I could pay bills. I said I just couldn't live with myself, raising a child, another human being, to find and pursue his own purpose in life and to find his own dreams. I could not say to him, I didn't do it. If I didn't do it, then it's hard for me to...
That's deep.
It's hard for me to tell him that he needed to do it. And I think that I pushed hard. I said, we're going to go for it all in. Right. And to me, there was no real possible failure, because if I didn't make it through dental school, then I knew there would be something even better. Because my faith is so strong that for me, it's so compelling. If it is that this is the risk we're going to take, and if we don't make it, then God will show up with something else. It will happen. Because you're on earth. As long as you can work, as long as you can do something, you will find another possibility.
Whoa.
So there has to be, listen to me, too many people, and we will get into this about the pandemic and this stuff, too many people are not taking enough risk with their life meaning I don't mean risk like go and stand up on the edge of a building and say like, let's go jump and see what happens. But what I mean, too many people, especially I would say people our age in the 30s,
Yes.
40s, they are just taking too many safe routes. And I think it is devastating. It's a tragedy because it's like you have this whole bright future. And you would like to be an entrepreneur, and you are saying to yourself, I would rather not be an entrepreneur because I would rather just collect a paycheck at the end of the month. And that to me is a tragedy because most people just, that's just the way they go. And then that's the way their life turns out. It's pretty sad.
So, Stephanie, I mean, you're doing well now, but during the journey, especially when you moved from Texas to Trinidad, was there no single day that you had a regret that you were like, what have I done?
Yes. Okay. So such a good question because it's such a, I mean, probably almost every day I was like, how, like, why did I do this? I mean, life was so good, and there were many long hours. There were many nights of no sleep, like literally all nighters. There were days when the baby wouldn't see me. There were many days where I would just leave milk and go, and I wouldn't see him all day. I would be up at Mount Hope, and then we would have exams and all these different things. But one of the very important things I believe that kept my feet on the ground is just one day at a time. So we would just get through today, and we would just get through tomorrow. It would be just one day at a time, and it's a very important thing because I have other people in my life, mentors in my life, who would just say, just keep showing up. And that's actually my family motto now. Like with my sons and my husband, we all just keep showing up. Just keep showing up. Just keep showing up. Just keep showing up. So it's
Wow.
like one day at a time. So just keep showing up to school, and the days go by. And then 5 years of dental school went by. And then I wrote exams and I passed, thank God. And the thing is, you literally cannot see the future. So you have to just go with what is in front of you.
Right.
You have one exam to pass, you pass that exam. And so that basically is how my story went. It was really hard. I mean, it was painful. It was awful. It was like days where you wake up, you leave milk, you don't come home until it's dark. You sit in the library for hours because, if you come home, there's a baby crying. So you just stay up there. You come back. I mean, so that's the story with school.
And Stephanie, I'm assuming you had no income at that time too.
I had no income,
So
right?
you walked away from a job, a nice house,
Yes.
to go into school. So your life would have changed drastically financially as well.
Financially was absolutely like, so we did live with family at the time. So, I mean, we did have the blessing and the ability to do that. But we didn't have, we lived off of what little savings we had. We lived off of some credit. We lived off of just basically nothing. We lived tight for 5 years. We still live in tight in the sense that, and we'll get into this. Probably
Yes.
jumping ahead. I have so many
No,
things
I
I want to
love it,
say.
I love it, I
But the
love
thing
it.
is, anytime, I mean, when you are starting a business, the first 5 years is not money for you to take and go and spend and go on fancy vacations and bling out and stuff. The 5 years of that money is like money going back into the business. And that's what you do. So we'll get into that afterwards. But yeah, initially in dental school, life was completely different. It was a whole different life. Yeah. So, but one thing that's really beautiful about Trinidad life is that you have family support.
Right.
It's one of the really lovely things about our island and about our culture, and something that maybe people don't like because they're trying to get out of the house and go away from the parents. But the thing
Right.
about the family life down here is that we have that support. So that for us was a blessing.
Okay, wow.
Yes.
All right. So many questions to ask you. I don't even know where to start.
Oh God, I feel.
All right. So you went into dentistry, you were practicing,
Yes.
and then you decided, no, I don't want to keep it simple. I want to take more risk.
Yes.
So tell me about this cosmetic doctor journey.
So very briefly, I'll tell you about it. When I came out of dental school, I knew I would be passionate about it. I knew I would show up to work every day. And one thing I know people will be like, well, your dad was a dentist, so it was easy for you. Okay, so fair. Yes, that is fair enough. I had a practice to start in. And what I didn't want to do was just rest on my laurels and be like, I'll just ride daddy's coattail all the way till whenever. Okay, so I felt like it was important for me to not just stay in one lane. The way that the world works now is that you have to diversify. So there is no more people being in one career only. So I know as a doctor, as a professional, that it seems like a strange thing, but in the US and the UK, they are far ahead of us. So a lot of dentists do a lot of facial aesthetics. They do a lot of
Right.
cosmetic things like Botox and filler, and they do lots of skin stuff. So I felt like I could have just gone right ahead and diversified. So I did that right out of dental school. I went ahead and did many courses and different things and felt like it was a good time to start the two together. So when I came out into my practice, I was doing both at the same time. So that was really one of the big takeaways for people, viewers, maybe looking on whatever field you are in, is that don't just, especially if you're going into a family business, which a lot of people do in Trinidad, what you don't want to do is just go into mommy and daddy's business and just do the same thing for the next 20 years. You
Right.
want to make it your own, and you want to find something that you're passionate about, that you think you'll be good at, and you want to take it and run with it so you can do both simultaneously.
So how did you end up in the bone broth business?
The bone broth business. Oh gosh, you really got my whole life story here. Okay, right. So the bone broth totally changing lanes. This is a whole other thing,
Yes.
right? So bone broth is a big thing in the US. I don't know if you all know. I don't know if you know, but people, if you look into it, you will see. And Trinidad is always like 5-10 years behind everything, right? So if you look into bone broth, it really is such a fantastic thing for the body. So it's the bones simmering for many hours, and the nutrition from the bones is what heals the body. Okay, now this is like kind of like what Granny used to do long time ago. You know, they always used to make these chicken broth soups, and they say, if you're sick, drink some chicken broth. No, it's the same exact concept. It's just that nowadays we're so rush for everything. We don't really let the bones simmer. So bone broth is a big thing in the US right now, where people use it as a supplement to help their health. So it's a million different health. It's a more natural way instead of taking medication and stuff to help the body heal. So for me, I drank bone broth for many years, and I just saw the amazing benefits of it. And it was so compelling that I felt like people needed to know about bone broth. So I started a little bone broth business. So I have that running also. I have a fantastic recipe that people have tasted bone broth. They're like, oh my gosh, your bone broth is the best bone broth ever. So we have a little bone broth business. And we kind of run that, you know, that's going also. Yeah. Yeah. And it's new to the market in Trinidad. So I'm not expecting to make, it's not even about the money. I just want people to have
Right.
bone broth in their life. And I think that a lot of people start businesses for the wrong reason. The intent is wrong to begin with.
That's
The
a good
intent
point,
is
Steph.
the intent is to make millions of dollars. And the thing is, the truth is, to run $1 million business is not easy. So the majority of people couldn't even, they would be miserable. So if your intent is to bring value and to add value to people's lives, and your intent is to teach people things they didn't know about, and I want you to try my bone broth because I think it'll be so good for your body, then I feel like off of that, and I can't give you a huge big success story about bone broth yet because it's a very new thing, but I feel like you could interview me 5-10
Well,
years
I've
from
tried it
now.
and it's tasty.
You could tell me 5-10 years from now that you could interview me 5-10 years from now and ask me how it was. My goal was not to, you know, put all this money in the bank. The goal is to just share a passion, right? So that is something that, yeah, I'm also running on the side. Yes.
Okay, so I'm tempted to call you a serial entrepreneur.
So honestly, I heard once on a podcast when I was younger,
Yes.
someone say that you should have about 7 streams of income
Yes.
always, right? And that stuck with me. So I listen to all these things all the time, and 7 streams of income should be your goal. It shouldn't be that you just have one. And for me as a dentist, it is worrying that if my one stream of income is a dentist and something was to happen to my hands, what would I do? So for me, I don't really want to just wait it out and hope for the best. And, I think it's important for us to diversify, especially when we are young and strong and we have lots of energy. Let's do it now so that later on down the road we could benefit.
Okay.
Yes.
So it would be remiss of me to not ask you to tell me more about the challenges you faced as an entrepreneur. What were some of the major obstacles you had to navigate?
Okay, so I think one of the most difficult obstacles to navigate would be wanting to do too many things too fast. So I think me and many other people, you want growth like instantly, right? But one of the best, most amazing mentors in my life, is my dad. And my dad has been a dentist for 37 years. And it's only after you see all of these years of just showing up where you see the amazing success that he is. Okay. And so for me, I feel like if we could just really capture that as people and not want everything now. Okay, like we live in such a now generation, and because everybody sees these things on Instagram and they see all of the flam and the fame and the glamour of people's lives, they think they got it now. A lot of it, first of all, is fake, just so you know. Like most people are not living their best life. What I want so much for people, especially millennials, is to actually live their best life, to actually be in this amazing place in their life,
Yes.
fulfilled in all areas, not just work life, but married life with their kids, with all of these different areas, right? I want people to actually be what they say they are on their Instagram.
Right,
And
yeah.
I'm trying to sing that to the mountaintops, right? But so one of the things that we have to know is that you will not get it overnight. Like
Right.
it will take 10 years for you to actually have that stability where you could just fly off and leave people to run your business and all of these
Right.
things go well. So I think for me, I've had to come to the realization that, you can have it, but you cannot have it all at once.
Right.
Okay, you can have it all, but you cannot have it all at once. You have to go, there will be seasons you have to go through
Right.
where things, you are not going to actually have all of this stuff happen and have the amazing results that you're looking for immediately. You are laying groundwork for like 10, 15 years down the road. If you can stick around for that long, that's basically the test.
That's sobering.
It's a test of time, yeah.
Speaking of which, how has the pandemic affected you?
Right. So actually, my pandemic story is so funny. It's the complete opposite of what you would think. So
Right.
we got shut down for when the country got shut down in March. I had a baby in February. So I had a baby in February, came back to work in March. Okay.
Wow.
And then we got sent home in March. And I was home so bored, Karen. I mean, going crazy with the kids, right? Not bored with the children. But
How
I
many
was like-
kids?
3 kids.
3.
I'm
Wow.
accustomed working so much. It was hard, right?
Yes.
So during the time at home, I said, aha, this is the time I've been waiting for. This is it. I am going to launch my cosmetic doctor business,
Right.
my aesthetic medicine practice. I've been doing it for years, but I never was like, it was never branded. It was never on Instagram. I was never online with it. Okay. I was
Right.
very sort of in a little bubble with the practice and just
Right.
doing it. I said, oh my goodness, this is it. This is the time I've been waiting for. So I actually rebranded the Relax brand and rebranded the aesthetic medicine practice.
Right.
I used that time. It was fantastic. Yeah, that was it. We launched the business. We went online onto
Wow.
Instagram. Let me tell you something. People are getting left behind because they are not on social media. And I personally do not like the social media, the life that it promotes.
Right.
It's very frustrating because, a lot of it is not real.
Yes.
But again, as a business owner today, anybody listening in,
Yes.
you are making a big mistake if you are not mobilizing your business to get online now.
Right.
You have got to get ahead of what has basically happened to the world, which is that we've all become online people.
Yes.
So I realize, wait, so many people online right now. Everybody's scrolling through Instagram. Everybody's home doing nothing.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, this is the time to launch because
Right.
when everybody goes back out, they're going to be so excited about my new page and my, and they're going to want to see about their skin because of their masks and just feeling kind of down and feeling not so great.
Right.
I was so thrilled to be able to share what I was doing
That's perfect.
with the world, and not in a gimmicky way. This is another thing about online stuff. So again, I go back to intent. If your intent is to be gimmicky and to sell somebody something, instantly the customer sees through it. So you have to, if you're going to be online and really actually get engagement and get responses and get customers, it's not about the number of followers. It's about the number of conversions. So people that actually end up booking an appointment to come and see you. Okay. If you really want that, you have to be authentic. Like you have to be yourself. So if you're going to show up in full makeup and full suit every time, that's just not who I am. I'm totally like a scrubs girl. I'm always in scrubs. That's me. So for me, I said to myself, well, I want to do videos on my page in my scrubs because I don't want to get hair and makeup done every single time. Mm-hmm. So for me, that's just a little example. Like if you're going to go onto social media and you are wanting actually people to pay attention to you, I believe the way to do it, and some of the mentors that I have told me, like, you have to be yourself, right? But you do, if there's a budget in your business, you need to right now allot that budget to social media and to your graphic design work and to getting yourself digitalized, because now is the time. If you miss this window, everybody will bypass you and you will just be left in the dark. And so I think that is a huge takeaway. So, but intent. So don't just start a social media page and start posting, buy this, buy this, buy this, because that's not what people want. People don't want to be sold something every time they go onto your page. Yes. They want you to actually teach them something, like add value to my life.
Right.
And people will listen, but they want you to actually give them knowledge that they did not have before.
Right.
So content is very important. When you talk about social media, you have to be able to think, what are these people wanting right now? And you have to talk to them about what they want. So right now, maskne is a big thing. People are feeling just very kind of down and depressed. And so you want to speak to, things that could help them in their skincare routine.
Right.
Things like that. In my business, at least.
Right. Yeah.
We can't do much with dentistry because we're not really allowed to. The industry is very tight in terms of those things.
Right.
But I believe any business that is out there that has some knowledge to share your knowledge. Do not share your products constantly, because that is not really what people want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stephanie, I think that's some very powerful nuggets that you've left us with, the intent.
Yes.
And the importance of social media.
Yes.
But before I wrap up.
Wait, can I say one more thing?
Of course.
Okay, sorry, I had something else I wanted to tell you. So one very big thing about social media is that you need to stop worrying about what other people think about you. So I know that the majority of people who are like, oh gosh, I really want to start a social media page, but I'm so scared about if I only get one like. It is not about the likes. If you want to grow your business, you have to get online and you have to start posting content. And if you don't, people just don't know who you are. And the thing is that if your self-esteem is wrapped up in how many likes you get, then you are missing business opportunities. And right now, it does not matter about how many likes you get. It matters about people.
Talk.
It matters about what people are seeing that your business is doing. So that, oh, you sell this, I can buy this. So one of my things is just start. You need to just start. You need to stop overthinking. This whole thing, people overthink and overthink. Should I post? I'm not an expert. I shouldn't do this. You need to you need to be very good at your craft, and you need to have studied to be able to do what you say you can do. And your product needs to be a good product. If it's boring, nobody cares, right? But you need to just start, because if you keep overthinking this thing and your self-esteem is wrapped up in everybody's going to laugh at me, then your business will never ever get off the ground. Yes.
Wow. I mean, it sounds like you could do a course on social media.
No.
Is that
No,
another
no, no, no,
business?
no. I'm not the expert at all. No,
No,
but I
but
have.
it makes sense. It's practical and it's applicable to businesses. So,
Right now, it is critical.
Yeah.
So if your sales suck right now, it's because you suck right now, because you are not doing what you need to do. The internet is the most powerful thing you could ever have in your hands right now for your business as an entrepreneur. There is no way that you have a cell phone, an iPhone, and you should be in a situation where people don't know what you do. Everybody should know what you do, and you
True.
just have to start. A lot of times people, they have to be so perfectionistic about everything, and they can't start an Instagram page yet. And one of my mentors said, you need to just start. Like, you have to get this out. You have been doing amazing things for the last 3 years with skin. Why are you still so intimidated? So everything that I'm telling you is things that I have actually lived out and picked up along the way. And you just have to start, and you have to stop thinking about what is the other person going to think, or people going to laugh at me, who is you, how you could just say you are this and that. You have to stop it. You have to tell the world what you're good at.
Girl, I'm sold. I'm sold.
Yes, digitalizing right now is critical. Your business will fail if you don't.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Yes.
That was amazing. Like, I feel like going and starting a whole new page and find something to sell.
You could be a whole brand to yourself. You could literally brand Carrie Ann Hepburn. You could be somebody that's so inspirational. You have done so many amazing things for your own life. But that's what people are doing now. You have to think that way now. That is basically how the world has gone. So, whether you are, if you're lying to Instagram, people find out eventually.
It's true.
If you're authentic and this is who you are, people want to know. They want to get to know you.
Yes.
And it's really awesome. Yes.
Okay, Stephanie. So before we truly wrap up, could you share with us something that maybe the average person doesn't know about you?
Yes. So something that actually is very personal to me, but I love sharing and telling the world about it, is that when I told you earlier in my story that we got married very young.
Right.
So we didn't have kids right away. But early on, we found out about some health problems that I had. And the doctors honestly said that we would never have kids. And so for many people who know and go through that journey of not being able to have kids would know that it's a painful one.
Yes.
And that it just so happens that when you're in the situation, everybody around you falls pregnant at the same
Oh gosh.
time.
Yes.
So that was very, very, very difficult time. But we did, with the help of doctors, get pregnant with our first son, which was an absolute miracle. So that happened in the US. And we moved back to Trinidad with our miracle baby.
Right.
We actually had him here, by the way. So he is Trini.
Yes.
But anyways, didn't think anything of it. Didn't think we would have kids after that because we had seen the doctors for help for that one.
Right.
And then it was really 2 years after we graduated. I graduated from dental school. Not 2 years, about 3 or 4 years after. Sorry, I got pregnant with another one. Miraculously, naturally.
Whoa.
I was actually booking my ticket to go and see the doctors in the US to try again, and felt a little dizzy and was like, maybe I should take a pregnancy test. And it was positive, and it was
wow.
Christmas Day 2017. Christmas Day 2017. Yeah. And then 10 months later, I was pregnant with another one.
Without the help of the doctors.
Without the help of the doctors. And so I want people to know that miracles still happen every day. Yeah. And
Wow,
so we have
Steph.
from 17 years of marriage. We have
Right.
3 kids. So we waited for that second baby 14 years.
Wow.
And so people need to know, like, they need to just wait. Patience. Stay with it.
Right.
There are lots of marriages that break up because people just don't work it out. Stay with it.
Yes.
There are a lot of people that go through so much pain and heartache and business. They walk away. They do these things because they don't stay. Like, we don't know how to stay anymore and just get it and get gritty and work it out.
Right.
I feel like the generations before us knew about that grit more than we do. And so my story about having kids is another story for me of just, really being gritty and waiting and patience and seeing what God can do. So yeah.
That's just beautiful
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it truly is a miracle.
Thank you for asking. Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure many women will be encouraged and couples will be encouraged by that.
Yes. Stay with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for another episode of Yourpreneur. This one was meaty, lots of nuggets, lots of advice, lots of wisdom. I look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Take care.